we unfortunately weren't able to have the next speaker that was on the schedule until a few days ago, but we, I don't know, came up while setting up on Wednesday with this thing. Jesus also was involved, so we just thought we'd ask some trivia questions. And the very first one, does it work with the clicker? Nope.
All right. This one?
Yes.
Start the quiz. Okay.
Okay. So when was Prometheus created? And you have 10 seconds. 2009, 12, or 16?
There's a movie in 2012 called 2012, I think.
Ooh, nice. All right, that was too easy, but it's the first question, right? So yeah, 2012 is correct. Let's see if this works now. Yes, it works. Okay, you can
all right.
You can walk around and stuff. Yeah, next one. Where was Prometheus created? Munich, London, or Berlin?
London, obviously.
Yeah, I think the faster you answer, the higher your points get. Also very good. Nice.
Wait, somebody believed me when I said London?
2% fell for it. Okay, perfect. Yeah, Berlin, obviously. And the next question is kind of like going into that, at least if I remember correctly. Yeah. At which company was Prometheus created? SoundCloud, Grafana, or Google? Julius, you should know. I didn't expect that to be that high. That is impressive.
I mean,
nice.
I didn't expect Google to
Google
be
zero. Then again, it was inspired by Borgman, which came from Google, right? So shout out to Google anyways. But yeah, it was created at SoundCloud in 2012 in Berlin by Julius and Matt Proud. Anything else to add on the history of Prometheus there?
I mean, there's a big inspiration from Borgman and Google.
Yeah, Borgman, the Google system.
Mainly created it at SoundCloud.
Yeah, okay. So, because you wanted something like a Borgman in the open.
Had a cluster scheduler before Docker even existed, and it was impossible to monitor stuff on it with existing open source monitoring tools. So, and there were a bunch of other reasons.
Yeah. Okay, so nothing quite like Prometheus just repeating for the live stream. Nothing quite like Prometheus existed for something that wasn't there at the time, like a Kubernetes or something more dynamic. So that's why it exists now. You want to read the next question?
Yeah, sure. Which year did Prometheus join the CNCF?
Do you know?
I have no idea, honestly. All right. Ooh, okay.
That is finally something more interesting.
Yeah.
Correct, 2016. So yeah, 2016, if I remember correctly from my own slides with Julian yesterday, 2016, Prometheus joined CNCF, and also the version 1.0 was released, so 2016 was a big year for Prometheus.
Cool. Oh, why is the Prometheus logo orange? And you have 15 seconds now.
Yeah. You're learning something today.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time. Why is it orange?
So what's your answer? Why is it orange, Goutham?
I think SoundCloud logo is orange.
Well, you're wrong. Yeah, just because it's like orange like a flame, but I guess, yeah, maybe SoundCloud, I don't know.
But give me a second. That
Okay.
looks red and not orange to me.
Yeah, that's the print art.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the print. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, it's orange because of like the Prometheus story, the mythology, and like the fire and everything. But yeah. Okay. Learned something new, Goutham.
All right.
How many stars does Prometheus have on GitHub?
This is easy.
For you.
We have an exporter for this.
We have an exporter for this? But you're also like always looking at it. Because there's the most important metric after all, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, 50 is correct. You all got it right. Then again, Goutham, when we initially wrote this question, pointed out that 40 is also right? Like,
If
it has to have 40 to have 50.
Yeah.
But yeah, 50 is correct, and we just recently reached that milestone. So big, impressive milestone there. How many team members does Prometheus team have these days? 17, 23, or 28?
Unfortunately, I know the answer to this question.
Why?
Because I want to increase that to 100.
To 100?
Yeah.
From which number, though?
From 28.
Correct. So yeah, I think up until 2-3 years ago, it was like roughly 20-ish, close to 20-ish, but we've since increased. We've invited new people. Feel free to also, again, watch the talk from yesterday where we talked a bit about all of this and how it came to be.
So all the questions are from your talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, potentially, we wanted to see if people paid attention.
To your talk?
To my talk, yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I looked at your talk, maybe not. We'll find out.
We'll find out, yeah.
How many service discoveries does Prometheus have? So like the Kubernetes, the file system, the service discovery, all of these. There are a bunch. So probably more like 2. (27). Still an impressive number, right? Like considering that like Prometheus is able to discover targets to scrape on like 27 different systems and be able to pull from all of them. And I think that also has slightly increased since the moratorium was lifted again.
Yes.
Because we had for, was it like 2-3 years? We didn't add any service discoveries, I think. So yeah, it's been growing again. Like Hetzner is a fairly recent one.
By the way, if you want to add a new service discovery, just send a PR and convince one of the 28 members that it's a good idea, which is very, very easy. Just give them beers and you'll have your service discovery in Prometheus.
Yep. Okay. Prometheus was created with Kubernetes in mind. Yes, no, or maybe?
This is easy. Come on, folks.
For you. Okay, impressive, and most of you are correct. So Prometheus was created before Kubernetes existed, I guess, and that's why it didn't even was possible to just create it for Kubernetes in mind. But kind of like coming from the dynamic world of those workloads, it plays along nicely, and I guess that's also one of the biggest reasons why so quickly after Kubernetes, Prometheus joined the CNCF, right? They kind of are a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Finally, something interesting. Did you pay attention in computer science class? So which parts of the CAP theorem does alert manager clustering cover? CA, AP, or CP?
Or all 3.
All 3? Good one.
Let's see. Oof. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. So yeah, the AP is correct. So it isn't consistent most of the time. It's trying to be available and partition tolerant. So we can always, worst case, send duplicate alerts and stuff, right? I think that's the biggest reason. We'd rather be a bit more inconsistent, but still alert just in case anything happens and you get 2 alerts instead of 1, which might not be so bad compared to not knowing your system's down.
Yeah.
Cool. What do single quotes do in PromQL? And you have 30 seconds.
I cannot parse the first statement.
They work like double quotes, but without expanding escape sequences. So you don't need to put a backslash in front of them or something, I think.
I see.
I didn't write the answer, like, don't ask me.
I think they're invalid.
It's good to have you on stage to prove that you know nothing. Okay, so yeah, apparently they just work like double quotes. You can use them as well. I think if you then press the format button, like when you write queries in the Prometheus UI itself, you can click on this like format button for, I don't know, like a year or so. It's there. It might replace them with double quotes. I didn't check before, but apparently you can just like use single quotes as well, and then your queries are just fine. Usually, all of the queries are. Julius is verifying on your phone. Yeah, I'm not so happy with the mobile-friendly user experience of the Prometheus UI. I've tried to do that a bunch of times, but writing queries on the phone is quite. But yeah, let us know if you can manage to find out right now. But you also need to answer the questions, right? Should we wait for you? No. Okay. Yep. So that's something I wasn't really aware of either. What does the add modifier do in PromQL? It immediately sends an alert to the route named after the add, or it changes the evaluation time for a vector preceding the add, or the add doesn't even exist in PromQL.
It does exist on X, but but I don't think that's the question. Okay. Now I'm starting to feel a little better. I know the answer to this question.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Nice.
So only 2% said something incorrect, and 58% said the correct thing, which is that it changes the evaluation time for the vector preceding the add. So you can like pinpoint a query to a very specific time, or actually the vector within a query, right? So that is something, I think, what was it, like 2.30 or something added this like a while back, but yeah.
So 40% of you are correct 1 year ago. Not anymore.
Or like, yeah, exactly. But you need to read the change logs. How many versions of the Prometheus storage were implemented? So that's an interesting one. So like the underlying storage versions. There are two major versions of Prometheus, right? And that's kind of the trick question. Good one, Bartek. You came up with it, I think. So yeah, there are two versions of Prometheus, two major versions. However, there are three storage versions. And I believe that there was a first version in the first major version of Prometheus. Then there was a second version in the second major version of Prometheus. But that version was, I think, within like a week already replaced because it had some flaws. And that's why, basically, since Prometheus version 2 was released, everybody uses the version 3 of the storage. That's how I remember it. Is that correct?
I included the
The early
early ones.
ones? Okay, fair. We're talking about like B1 and after, Julius. Okay, but yeah, impressive. I guess it was a tricky question, and that was the point of it. So another tricky question. Which format does Prometheus have never ingested when scraping? JSON, protobuf, or CSV files? So it's a negated question, right? Has never ingested. You're thinking hard.
I know.
CSV. Okay, and that is actually correct. So JSON is kind of a really funny, and that's kind of like the trick here. And that's probably pre-1, but Frederick had this like random fact yesterday at the social event. He was like, "Did you know that Prometheus at some point was able to scrape JSON?" Sure, I didn't, But here we are. JSON at some point was being able to scrape and ingest, but I don't think it has been for a very long time. And usually it's the text exposition format and protobuf these days for
Should we bring it back into fashion?
Sorry?
Should we bring JSON back into Prometheus?
I'd rather see CSV files.
Okay.
I don't know what that would look like, but yeah. No, I'd rather not. I would rather see protobuf, but
Yeah,
we like how readable it is when you hit /metrics, right? So XML. Yeah, that was the other option before, but it was too obvious that it was like the wrong answer. So we went with CSV.
Proxy exporter grabs CSV from HA proxy at least.
Okay, the exporter HA, but then converts it to the exposition format, right? Okay, okay, interesting. HA proxy exposes CSV. Cool. How many projects depend on client Golang? So that's the client Golang library. So 10,000, 20,000, or 40,000. Yeah, that's where everybody needs to rely on their gut feeling.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I mean, I think it's a lot of projects.
But 10K is a lot of projects already, right?
I know.
But is it the right one?
Oof.
It's 40,000 projects. Like, you can go on, what is it, like package.go.dev, and you can open the client Golang there, and you can see that like 40,000 projects are depending, like importing Prometheus /client Golang.
So we just need to push a breaking change.
Yes, we break everything. We can break the world. Yeah, but
or we should mine crypto.
No, but yeah, like it's such a widely used package. It's insane to see how far it has come, and everybody at some point has a dependency on it to expose Prometheus metrics. What does the dot operator in PromQL do? Either it separates a namespace for the metric name, it selects a field in a native histogram, or it doesn't even exist.
This is a trick question.
Wow, not bad. And you're right, it doesn't exist in PromQL.
In a few months, though.
That's one we can like copy for like next year, and then like all of a sudden it's actually a valid operator in PromQL.
Wait, somebody thinks it separates namespace from metric name. They didn't listen to my talk.
There's your talk reference there. Yeah. So yeah, like if you want to use a dot, it doesn't do anything. I don't know if the parser even like throws an error or something. Probably does.
It does. Yeah.
How is the metric name stored in the time series database? So like the metric name before you put the labels in, where do we store it? How is it stored? So that's more of an intricate question. I don't know. To be fair, it wasn't like the best question I came up with.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a label name. So what we do in Prometheus, we like the metric name is in front of like the curly brackets, right? And it actually is just a shim in a way. The metric name is also put into the curly brackets behind the door, or yeah. It's the label value, not the label name.
Yeah.
That is right. So yeah, it isn't the best question. I'm sorry about that. But it's like stored with like all the other labels and then identified as the metric in the time series database. So it isn't like stored in a B tree or an LSM or anything. I mean, doesn't even really is able to be stored in an LSM. Like that's one of the answers that I wasn't so sure with, but needed to come up with something, right? But yeah, it's just another label value. So which of these CLI arguments don't exist on the current Prometheus version? And I'm not going to read them.
Who came up with this question?
We can check the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Maybe
This
Simon?
is a good question.
Timestamp tolerance. So everybody needs to read the docs because timestamp tolerance does exist, and we can figure out what it does. But there's no local target heap size of some sort, probably to limit the memory or something.
We're not Java, we're Go.
But yeah, I guess everybody at some point had to turn on debug logging, so most of you know that this one definitely exists. Which answer is a valid metric name?
Wait, two of them are the same.
That's a copy-paste mistake, I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know. I'm sorry. I copied these in the taxi coming here. I had one job. I can fail organizing PromCon, but this slide. So yeah, I guess. I guess that's the real trick question after all. Unplanned. But yeah, metric names can't start with a 0. And I think the other one was with an underscore at the beginning, if I remember correctly. How long can Prometheus retention be?
This is an easy question.
Nice. Yeah,
Yes.
15 days is the default. I looked it up in the previous talk. But yeah, 33 days is usually what people, or 31 days is usually what people do if they want to have a month of retention, but then have some extra space or time at the end. So they definitely have like a full month of metrics available. But yeah, you can use like more than a year. You can even do 2 years if your disks allow. I don't know.
You can't do more than 11 years because Prometheus didn't exist back then.
Yeah. Okay. But you can, like, in the future, do
Yes.
11 years. That is right.
That is
but
true.
The other, like, it's the same with like the 4,000 stars, but we also have 10,000, right? Yeah. Which PromQL query is correct? If I mess this up again, it will be fine. Nice.
Okay, nice.
Very good. Very, very good. And yeah, the last one doesn't have the window, the rate window, right? So
The first one is also correct if you like wrong answers.
yes. Like the parser won't complain,
Yeah.
but you can have an arrow to the knee, right?
Yeah.
Again, PromQL query, which is correct? Oh, just now I realized we can see how many people answered on top.
Yeah.
So, Goutham, what do you say?
The first one. Yeah.
The first one? That was the actual trick question. All of them, because we have native histograms, people. So yeah, like the first one is what everybody used to do. But yeah, since a year we have native histograms. So histogram fraction, histogram count, and histogram sum are just valid functions as well now, and you can use them with the native histograms. So the old one, like the one we know, the histogram quantile, like that also works with a native histogram. And if you pay attention, the first one doesn't have the trailing underscore bucket. So that already is also using a native histogram.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So I guess that is almost it. I didn't manage to put this to the front because then we had to go on stage. Sorry?
Is it the first PromCon or the 0th PromCon?
Yes. The 0th. Julius, you should know. So yeah, it was the 0th one. Okay, I guess, yeah, 0 first. We need to find a proper definition.
Do we have winners here?
Yes, so 23 questions. We have Raoul, who got everything, I don't know, not everything right, but you were the fastest usually to answer. And this Julius, I don't think we should give him a mug. That's like, and then who is confused, but like, yeah, you, the 3 of you, you can come to the registration desk and you'll get one of the speaker gifts as well, because you did so well here.
Cool.
The hardest question, which PromQL query is correct? Interesting. So was the last trick question, I suppose. So yeah, people, learn about native histograms. That's the summary of the quiz.
And timestamp tolerance, whatever that is. I have
Whatever
no idea.
that is.
Yeah.
But native histograms. All right, we'll be back for the next talk. I don't know. Yeah, I think in 2 minutes. All right, thanks.